Hey folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of The Articulate Fly, and we're back with another On the Water with Dustin White. Dustin, how are you?
Marvin, I'm doing good. Coming off a pretty windy stint out in central Wyoming, so we're looking forward to the updated forecast we got coming out.
Yeah, we were talking before we started recording, and I didn't realize you were coming back east. I was like, a good time to maybe be off the water and not get blown all over creation for a few days, right?
Yeah, it's been windy. It was a bit rainy for probably a good week and a half, I would say. And so there's another couple days left of wind, and I got to come back east for a good friend's wedding this weekend. So I'll miss the tail end of that torrent that we've been having and get back for when the weather starts to shift back to the way we like it.
Yeah. So on the other side of the Memorial Day weekend, when folks start getting out on the water, what should they expect to see back in central Wyoming?
It's a little different on each system. We've still got baetis on all three. I guess we would call sections that we tend to discuss here of the Horn, of the Reef, and of the Mile. So baetis are still kind of popping everywhere, but on terms of the North Platte, we are starting to see some sallies in that warmer water. So sallies have been kind of popping at up on the Mile. We've been starting to see them on the lower sections or mid sections of the North Platte below the Reef that we fish. Even some PMD action with some of the days in temps. Again, where we're sitting in warmer water. In terms of the Horn, the normal sort of stuff that we would see there this time of the year are still happening of scuds, of baetis, but seeing some caddis as well, and so all of that's been good. We've been fortunate enough, to have the last couple of days some good blue wing hatches, so we've had some head looking up. So I've had some success throwing, particularly pretty basic parachute patterns for rising fish. But the cloud cover in that wind we've had is actually made for some pretty dynamic streamer fishing on all three fronts. So little bit of a different variety to choose from, depending on what style folks would like to target fish with. But again, those sorts of tried and true things for this time of year would be effective. The only thing, as I mentioned, that's a little bit different for this time of year is, having some pretty effective dry fly fishing, which tends to be something we see more later summer into the fall. And then also some of the bug hatches we're having seem to be a little earlier than we normally see. Sallies being the most obvious of that. But like I said, taking advantage of what the conditions give us, we've had some wonderful fishing on all three systems.
Very, very neat. And I also know that as it warms up, you're going to be pulling around chasing carp too.
Yeah. We're right around the corner from that. And so, carp right now, we're still definitely pretty spawny. So a lot of them really aren't too interested in eating, but as that winds down, they turn to some pretty voracious eating habits. So yeah, we'll be pulling around for them here. I would say within a week or two, we'll start being able to run more and more of those trips. And then, as the summer kicks off, after Memorial Day, I would say it'll be full tilt for them out on the reservoirs.
And if you need to make a wager about what guides are doing on their day off, that's probably what they're doing, right?
Yeah. Guides' day off, we're probably out there chasing some carp. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. And of course, for this year, folks, we're kind of talking about local kind of, food and bev places in Casper. And, Dustin and I were kind of ticking through the list. And a new place that's recently remodeled their bar is the Backdoor Lounge.
Yeah. So that's kind of been I would call it the dive bar that us guides would hang at in the later hours. Just an awesome little hole in the wall place. And they took advantage of the off season this year and moved locations, still on CY Avenue, but just went a little further west by maybe 3/4 a mile down the road. but remodel a totally new location. Same great staff, same fantastic service, but they've updated a lot of what they offer to their patrons. So, whereas before it was kind of that dive hole in the wall, you might find a microwave pizza as your only food option. They've got a really killer kitchen right now that they do, regular specials. And in fact, just a bit ago when we had a couple weeks ago with the Kentucky Derby, they did an entire Southern cuisine menu with pimento cheese and hot honey fried chicken biscuits. I mean, they did it right. But their regular rotating menu is phenomenal. They've got a great bar staff there and just a really fun place to actually just go have a conversation with some friends, hang for the night. We've been really, really stoked on the new update that they've done. And I think folks are taking kindly to it as well.
Yeah. Did they have any possum for your Kentucky Derby event?
No, no, they didn't stray that far off the beaten path, so to speak. But no, they, like I said, they had a really great pimento cheese dip. They had, of course, the mint juleps. They had the chicken biscuits, as we talked about, and a few other dishes. So it's pretty awesome as different events come up the calendar year. They've got a really wonderful kitchen staff that will kind of come up with scratch plates for those things in addition to their ongoing menu. So pretty good.
Yeah. And so, you were saying, dive bar before. I mean, are they still kind of in the long neck game? Maybe have some special well cocktails. What's the kind of the drink of choice over there?
Yeah. Before, the drink of choice would have been honestly a bottle of PBR. And, we'd always do the twist off and guess what the suit of cards is under the bottle cap. They've expanded on that now, and they have, a pretty killer draft list. They've expanded their cocktail beyond just, basic single pours of cheap whiskey to, some more finer spirits that they're offering. So they still have a little bit of what folks used to be familiar with there, but they've expanded it in order to kind of meet the needs, the desires of anyone that comes to the door. So just a really, really fun place to hang. Still just a little bit down the road, still on CY Avenue. But it still is the local guide haunt, but just with new digs and, all gussied up a little bit.
Yeah, so you may have to maybe trade in your Jack and Ginger and a Pizza Hut cup for maybe an IPA.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, you still might be able to find it, but we're just taking a step up there. We're moving on up.
Yeah, there you go, like George and Wheezy.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, and folks, we love questions on the Articulate Fly. You can email them to us or DM us on social media. If we use your question, I will send you some Articulate Fly swag. And Dustin and I, when he gets back home to Casper, we're going to kind of nail down what the drawing is going to be. But, will be something cool just like it was last year. And, and the wind's dying down. And, wherever you are in the country, it's a good time of year where, you don't necessarily have to hang up your trout rod. And a lot of places, saltwater and warm water fishing is starting to gear up. And you should get out there and catch a few. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Dustin.
Tight lines, Marvin. Thanks so much.